There was kind of some early questions about something's going on with the lake. What's going on here? What could be affecting it? Was it climate? Was it due to groundwater pumping? Is there land use change, stormwater changes? So those were some of the early questions. And so, a lot of the science and the scientists at the different agencies got involved very early on. So the project we started with the USGS, which was published in 2013, was really the beginning stages of looking at that in a really statistically robust way.
We're trying to inform the stakeholders of what we've been doing the last 3 years to assess groundwater surface water interactions in lakes in the Northeast Metro.
This work that the USGS is doing right now is helping to answer a really big why. Why are lake levels going down? What about the hydrogeology of this area is helping to contribute to that? So that's going to be a really important piece of information. But that doesn't answer the what can we do about it? And so that's the sort of parallel track that I think we need to be on, and I think people are ready for, is what can I do? And how can I use this science to help me choose out of all of these different possible things that have been thrown out there? Recharge, stormwater changes, shutting off wells, pumping wells to augment the lake, bringing in water from Mississippi. Which of those can we do? Or which combination? So at the same time that we have this research project going on, I think really working together to kind of come up with some of the answers. What's going to be the lowest cost choice? Which one is going to be the most sustainable in the long term? Getting those questions pinned down. In September, when this project is over, we can start putting those two things together, and that's going to help us choose the best course of action going forward.
We need a permanent, long-term solution, data-driven, and that's what this process has done. That's what the Met Council, the DNR, and USGS and others have been working for. Long-term, permanent solutions that are data-driven and fix this problem. We have a serious problem up here, we're going to get it fixed. So we said from the beginning.
I also appreciated the position that the Met Council has taken on this, which is that we're using science to lead us. And so the hope is that policy decisions can wait until proper science is in place to support those decisions.
When we take a look at using water in our region, it's not just me drilling a well in my local home and pulling water from there, but it has an impact everywhere else. And if, as a combined community, and by community I mean the entire Northeast Metro, if we're using too much groundwater, then we've got to know, how do we have to start changing our practices, and also more importantly, how do things happening today might have a future impact on what those groundwater uses might be. And an example of that would be is what does climate change have an impact on that? If the climate changes rapidly, we might not see an impact in our groundwater levels today, but in 15 or 20 years it could have a severe impact. And we need to know that today so that we start planning, how does that mean we have to start using our water resources differently in the future.
In Minnesota, we really haven't thought about groundwater and surface water together. We just, historically, as a state, we haven't done that. And this has really focused attention on that issue for many people for the very first time.
Water is who we are in Minnesota. Minnesota is the land of sky blue waters, 10,000 lakes. And for us that is very critical. And I think that's part of the problem we've had, is because we've had such a surplus of water in the past, we've taken it for granted. And now with our growing population and some changes in the climate in some parts of our state, water is not as available as it was. And I think it's time that we start paying water the respect that it is, so that we can start treating it as the renewable resource that it is, whether it's the quantity, but also making sure that we don't forget about the quality of the water.
All hydrologic studies take a lot of time because we have to collect information over a larger period of time under different climatic conditions. And often studies have to take at least 2 to 3 years to get a decent representation of data that we've collected over enough of a change in climatic conditions to get a good representation of what is happening in the system.